Iran's streets have become a war zone, and the world is just now starting to notice. The regime is slaughtering its own people, 12,000 dead bodies piling up in morgues. But why is this happening? And why is the world only waking up now? The truth behind the chaos is far darker than you think. Stick around, because this story is just getting started. The violence in Iran isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a much larger growing pattern. Over 12,000 people have already been killed, and the regime's crackdown is intensifying by the day. Why is this happening now? And what does it mean for the future of Iran? What if this isn't just another protest? What if it's the beginning of the end for a regime that's been in power for over 4 decades? This isn't just a political struggle. It's a war against the people. Doctors in Iran have risked their lives to leak information about the regime's brutal tactics. The first night of the massacre, medical staff reported a shift. Injuries went from rubber bullets to machine gun wounds, from single shotguns to military-grade weapons. Hospitals were overwhelmed. They couldn't handle the sheer number of dead and wounded. And yet, the killing spree continued, disproportionate, violent, and designed to silence anyone who dared to resist. But here's the chilling part. This isn't just a few rogue agents. This was coordinated. The regime itself ordered these massacres. As the killings ramped up, the Iranian government didn't just respond with force. They escalated in ways we've never seen before. The crackdown was so extreme, it's being compared to the Tiananmen Square massacre of 1989. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. The regime didn't stop at just using bullets. They deployed death squads, military units specifically ordered to shoot on sight. These were no longer peaceful protests. This was a full-on massacre. What's happening now in Iran isn't an anomaly. It's becoming the new normal, a terrifying shift in how regimes are willing to protect their power. And just when you think it can't get worse, it does. Even the regime's own media has been forced to admit the scale of the violence. State TV now reports that 2,000 people have been killed, but we know the true number is much higher. Iranian doctors are saying this massacre surpasses anything they've seen before. And it's not just the violence, they're covering up the aftermath. Families are desperately searching for their loved ones in morgues, with bodies piled up in ways that can't be ignored. This isn't just an attack on protesters, it's an attack on humanity itself. And here's the part that changes everything. This massacre has been documented from the inside. The evidence is clear, and the regime's actions are now open to international prosecution. Who's really behind this? The chain of command leads straight to the top. Now, things are escalating faster than anyone expected. First, we had the deaths in the streets. Then the protests spread even as the regime tried to crush them. And now the government is forcing people to attend fake rallies just to make it look like they have support. They're even banning funerals for protesters who were killed in the crackdown. Imagine that. Banning mourning. But here's the real question. What happens if this continues? What happens when the regime runs out of options? What happens when those 12,000 dead aren't just numbers, they're martyrs sparking a revolution? This isn't just a headline. It's real people suffering, and it affects you too. Think about it. Parents are searching through morgues, hoping they don't find their children's bodies. Ordinary people just like you are caught in a life or death struggle, fighting for their freedom. And it doesn't end there. The entire world is watching. But what are we doing about it? The regime has proven that no one is safe, that they'll stop at nothing to crush dissent. If this feels familiar, say so in the comments. This isn't just a story. It's the reality for thousands of families fighting for their lives. This isn't just about the violence in the streets. It's about how power works, how systems of control maintain their grip. The Iranian regime isn't acting in isolation. They're using fear, intimidation, and absolute control over every level of government to crush opposition. But this is not unique to Iran. All over the world, we're seeing similar patterns emerge. Governments willing to destroy their own people to hold on to power. It's a mechanism that thrives on keeping the masses in the dark, and it's only getting stronger. The more this happens, the harder it becomes to break free. What we're witnessing isn't just a fight for change. It's a fight against a system built to resist it. So where does this go from here? There are two possible paths. On one hand, the regime could tighten its grip even more, pushing the protesters further into the shadows, controlling the narrative with force. But on the other hand, the momentum of these protests is undeniable. The world is watching, and international pressure is building. The U.S. is already signaling their intent to act. And it's clear that the Iranian government is on edge. So what's next? Will this spiral into something even more violent? Or will the global response finally push the regime to a breaking point? One thing is certain, the next move is already in play. This is bigger than a revolution. It's a wake-up call to the world about the lengths regimes will go to in order to maintain power. Iran's fight is a battle for the future, not just for them, but for us all. The real question is, how long will the international community stand by as innocent lives are destroyed? This story is far from over. And as the situation unfolds, we'll continue to uncover what's really happening. So make sure you're subscribed. This isn't just a moment in history. It's the beginning of a much bigger one. Stay tuned for the next chapter.